Hello, thank you all for joining us, and thank you to everyone who put together this event. My name is Gregory Hitch, and I'm a PhD candidate in American Studies. And I will talk briefly today about my dissertation titled The Forest Keepers: An Environmental History of the Menominee Nation, from Colonization to Climate Change. So the Menominee Reservation is home to the last old-growth forest in what is now the state of Wisconsin. So a major question animating this research is, how did the Menominee preserve this forest from clear cutting? Like many histories, the answer is not tidy or clear. But one thing that consistently stands out is that the Menominee always put their community first, both human and more than human. Indeed, many Menominees understand forest beings like trees, grasses, soils, and such to hold energy, have agency, and as relatives. So this kinship has guided many Menominee decisions for generations, both before colonization as well as today. So my dissertation explores Menominee survival, adaptation, and resurgence through their struggles against the American settler colonial state from 1815 to the present. Across these decades, the Menominee experienced a catastrophic Earth systems change precipitated by forced treaties that allowed settlers to violently appropriate nearly all the land and terraform it by damming rivers, clear-cutting forests, and plowing under prairies to extract the energy contained in these ecosystems. The nascent field of energy humanities has made important strides in understanding how societies and cultures are entangled with fossil fueled energy systems. However, I would argue that few of these scholars have focused on the energy flowing through ecosystems, and fewer still have also centered indigenous ways of knowing the world. As a result, most studies tend to ignore the long history of indigenous communities' relationships with more than human beings that constitute the energies flowing through these ecosystems, and thereby treat land as merely a surface upon which Western history plays out. So without a material discursive analysis of settler societies' violent seizure of land to capture these ecological energies, we discount the environmental injustices indigenous peoples experience materially through curtailed access to ancestral foods, medicines, and fuels, but also culturally through disrupted lifeways, spiritualities, and knowledge systems bound up in these materials and spaces. So my project fills this gap by investigating the impacts of American settler colonialism as an act of environmental injustice, while also illuminating the Menominee's persistence and adaptive capacity to fight this ecological colonization. Indeed, I argue that the Menominee consistently adapted to and resisted colonization by utilizing their ancestral knowledge systems, organizing principles, and interspecies ethical frameworks. So by insisting on the agency, relationality, and ethical treatment of their forest relatives, the Menominee saved the land from massive clear cutting and now practice world-renowned sustainable forestry, are deploying renewable energy, and investing in culturally relevant regenerative agriculture. Finally, I believe this research is especially critical since most scholars investigating environmental justice and climate change focus on the extraction, burning, and waste products of fossil fuels. However, a sizable percentage of greenhouse gas emissions, some estimates put it at 25%, are associated with mass deforestation, industrial agriculture, and the damming of rivers. These emissions and impacts, moreover, will probably be the hardest to reduce if we stand a chance to reverse climate change. However, by reforesting land, farming regeneratively, and restoring ecosystems, we can biosequester huge amounts of carbon in the soil instead of releasing it into the atmosphere. That is why historically grounded studies of energy systems outside of fossil fuels are critical for offering lessons in how to ethically draw down carbon and build a better world. Thank you.